Just quickly wanted to say at the beginning of this video, big shout out to Gecko on Twitter, or his @ is G3CK0_CS. He helped me a bunch with getting some of the screenshots for this video, and it really means a lot that he came out and helped me, so yeah, thanks. Hey guys, it's your boy Progress, and today we got a brand new video for you, and this time I will be going over a very requested artist, which I actually previously did talk about on my Twitter before anybody even mentioned his name, but people have been trying to request me to talk about the guy Jumex, and today I will be going over why I believe he is an industry plant. For those of you guys who don't know what an industry plant is, it's basically where a label or someone works for a label, sees a lot of potential in somebody during the current markets that are moving, and they just pump a bunch of money and connections and random shit into them in hopes that they'll stick to be able to get some kind of financial gain out of it. And once again, this is usually a very enticing offer to new and up and coming artists who are often younger because they don't understand the negative connotation that comes with doing all of the shit basically that somebody else wants you to do. Now this one's slightly different because the way that I actually found out about him was because I kept getting recommended his new song, which was Trapped. At least I thought that was the first time that I'd heard about him until I realized, he looks a lot like this dude. And that's because, yes, this guy is the same kid who ran around the classroom yelling World Star, and they didn't think I would do this. I mean, I would hope they wouldn't think that the fucking celery stick haired kid wouldn't be just running around the classroom smoking a blunt in the middle of a lesson. That's just my thought though. The first reason that people thought that Jumex was probably going to be an industry plant was because they noticed like, oh my gosh, I don't even know who this kid is. He's got almost 3 million views on his music video. Like, he came out of fucking nowhere. He's got to be a plant. And yeah, I'll say right now, one of the easiest ways to detect if somebody might be an industry plant is if you go onto their channel and their other social medias and they have one song, and that one song is exploding well beyond what their follower count is or anything else that they've had in the past, and they just seem to randomly grow out of nowhere from, for seemingly no reason. Just like the Baby Goth situation, Jumex actually does have more songs that he's made in the past. He's just removed them all, and they are very much so lower quality than this stuff that he has out now, so maybe that's why he removed it.
You were never there, hearts broken to despair. I saw you in the summer, just a girl with long hair.
And he also did rebrand his name from being Lil Jumex to Jumex, which, at least he removed the Lil, but, I mean, the fact that he had it there in the first place isn't looking too hot already. But obviously, that isn't the only way of being able to tell that he is an industry plant in any way. There are a couple parts, and I will explain those. If you look back on Jumex's actual stats that came from last year as provided by Social Blade, you'll be able to see that he didn't really have any subscriber growth or even that many views that got accumulated in the span of from like the past March or whatever it ends up being. It shows that he had roughly 100 subscribers gained in the entire last 9 months. Up until before the music video had dropped, and back then as well, he gained maybe, I think it was roughly about 1,000 views or something in that time span. So obviously he wasn't, exploding or a massive up-and-coming artist up until the point of his random music video being dropped. But you see that little bump right there? That right there is the day that the Trapped music video came out. It got almost 4.5 thousand views that day, and then the following 7 days, it dropped well below those numbers, and at one point was actually getting less than 700 views on its worst day. Then the most noticeably weird section is right here, where it shows that his video was getting less and less views for about 4 days straight, going all the way down to only 31k in a day, to then, boom, out of nowhere, 102,000 views the next day. But then it was weird because all of a sudden after the 102,000 views, the very next day he only got 32,000 views, and then the following day after that, he got 132,000 views. What the fuck is going on with those numbers? This dude's views would die, explode, cut in half, and then explode again. That's not normal. So he might have been actually getting put into recommended, and that's what those low points were, was the recommended section just taking over, but that's not where all the views came from. It also makes me suspicious because you can see in his YouTube analytics on Social Blade, it usually tells you what your percentages are in difference from the month before. But basically, that's not at all what this did. It showed dash, for each his subscriber count and his view count, meaning that it had nothing to go off of for previous months because he had no other content. Now there's two things that could obviously be able to make him get that many views. One being that he got promoted, which is confirmed, but in a way that's a little bit different that I'll go into more detail later. And then there's also the possibility of sub-botting or view botting. We may not have full evidence, obviously, of him view botting on the YouTube video, although it's pretty compelling when his views were massively skyrocketing, then dropping really low, because that doesn't look like natural growth at all. There's also another thing though, which is on his SoundCloud we can look at. Right here you can see that his song Trapped had 3.2 million plays, which is an insane number. But what's wrong with that? Well, just look at the interactions. Less than 10,000 likes and less than 700 reposts? What? For those of you who don't use SoundCloud, let me break this down for you. That's straight up literally impossible. To get a better look at a comparison to see what his stats should look like if they were real, I took other artists who are semi-known and put them against his song with either when they had less views than his or if they had slightly about the same amount, just so you guys can get a general idea of what a normal ratio looks like. So just remember that Jumex's song Trapped had 3.2 million plays with less than 10,000 likes. Here we got Skinny from the Nine song Crush 3 with only 3.1 million plays, but it has 22.9 thousand likes. Then we got two songs by Global Dan, one of them with 2 million plays and 28,000 likes, the other one with only 576,000 plays but over 10,000 likes. And finally we got two songs by Oliver Tree, one with 3.8 million plays and almost 80,000 likes, and the other with 1 million plays and 21,000 likes. When you see those numbers stacked next to Jumex's, you start to realize that what he's doing is a little impossible. Another way to tell that he's probably view botting is that I had gone and screenshotted his SoundCloud like this on January 11th of 2019, where he had only one song on there, and that was the one with the 3.2 million views. But then for some reason 6 days later, being January 17th of 2019, I go and all of a sudden there's a new song that claims it's been there for the same amount of time and apparently has over 1 million views. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think it's possible that 8,000 followers can get you 1 million plays in 6 days. Now, let's go back to when I mentioned that the promotional stuff was actually confirmed, because that stuff is also a little strange to me. If you go back to the music video, you'll see that the music video was directed by a guy named Taco. Who's Taco, you ask? Well, he's a massive DJ and a member of Odd Future, which is a really big group. So how the fuck did Taco know who Jumex was? I don't have an answer for that question. I'm just literally asking, how did somebody with almost 1 million followers know somebody who had like less than 15,000 before their music video came out? Go ahead and type in the comments like,
oh, well, he probably had a friend who had a friend, and they probably were the ones who said that, you know, oh, he's getting connections with him, and then they got in contact with him, or, oh, maybe he's just a friend of his, maybe that's how he directed it.
and okay, that's cool, but when is the last time that one of your friends paid for an entire music video that had 3 executive directors, a cinematographer, a production designer, a hair and makeup artist, an editor, a graphic designer, and a fucking production assistant? I will sit here and wait for you to be able to tell me which one of your friends was going to put tens of thousands of dollars into making a music video for you. I'll cut you off right there, none. And then there's going to be other people who are going to say, well, what if his label paid for it? Well, I doubt that, since the one label he's signed to is an absolute nobody that has no followers or any social media stuff that's active, and the other one is just one of those online services that's basically a distribution center. And the final argument that most people will try and make is, oh, well, what if he just has rich parents, and he was just able to pay for it himself? Once again, no, because then why would he have a fake chain? Yes, this is a photo that was deleted off of his Instagram that I ended up finding, and if you don't believe me, there's also a picture of him on his Instagram right now that has him wearing the exact same chain, but it's from far away so you can't see what it looks like. But yeah, Why would he own fake chains if he was able to pump tens of thousands of dollars into a music video? I'd also like to point out that Jumex is violating the YouTube terms of service when it comes to abusing of the tags. It also is bad when you look at the fact that he decided to put 2 recently passed artists in his tag description, as well as adding in some of XXXTentacion's song names in there as well off of his recent project to try and generate more views. And obviously there's stuff like Ninja and Fortnite and just other popular artist terms, which once again, that's against the YouTube TOS. And now here is where I think that him being planted into the industry is the most visible, and that's with some of the people who were promoting his stuff. One of the people Jumex got shouted out by was DJ Snake, one of the biggest producers in the entire world. How the fuck does DJ Snake know who Jumex is? Okay, him being, you know, the other person, Taco, being an artist or whatever and being in the industry, I could see that. But when in the hell did DJ Snake find the time of day to look and search through this random-ass kid's song? I don't get it at all. He's got massive artists and massive producers throwing him into the industry with no one knowing where he came from and no one knowing who he is. I don't care how much money you get paid to do it, why are you throwing trash artists into the industry? It is not a good look. Even if he brought something new to the table when it came to rap or music in general, I could at least see your reasoning for wanting to do that. He doesn't even do that. He rhymes fucking wavy with wavy again. That's not original. Oh, and he ends up throwing in another wavy down at the bottom of that verse to make things worse. He's basically a shittier Lil Pump. Yes, I'm actually going to compare him to Lil Pump, but worse when it comes to lyricism. And even just his actual scream rapping in the song is very unprofessionally done. It sounds like he isn't vocally trained at all. As soon as I heard him, it actually reminded me, for any of you guys who know who he is, Immortal HD, a few years back there, had a little group that he did music with. He tried doing that, and it sounds exactly the way that Jumex does.
I made it through all this without letting go. I'm trapped and I can't get out.
So it leads me to think that he is so underprepared to be an artist of any kind. Why is he being so promoted by these dudes? Like I said, money is cool, but why would anyone do this? I guess the equivalent comparison to that is we've never had Lettuce come into the trap game before, so at least they took a spin on it. And one quick thing that I actually wanted to bring up as well is the fact that his face tattoos that you see, like the heart and the X's across his face, that isn't even an original thing that he did. It was actually stolen from a previous person that he worked with back in the day before the dreads and before everything else, like any tattoos that he had. The design was stolen from one of those people he worked with back in a traffic group. Like, Jumex is the epitome of unoriginality, complete creative drain, and just everything that we don't need in the industry right now. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video and that you learned something from it. If you see somebody come out of nowhere with no previous music except for the one song that's blown up, then be careful out there. You might be inside of the forest. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Baby, I love you. You're so